Hi students, there is a news related to electoral bonds. Few weeks from now, there are elections in different states of the country. In that context, once again, electoral bonds news surfaced. Here there is a lead article in the Hindu. It is saying to the poll booth with no donor knowledge. In that context, we have to see when the electoral bonds scheme was introduced, what are various dimensions in it, and what are the critical dimensions of electoral bonds. First, electoral bonds were announced in the Union Budget of 2017 and 18. The electoral bond scheme is being implemented by Ministry of Finance under the Department of Economic Affairs. It was implemented under Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. So in that context, let us see different issues and different organizations involved in electoral bond scheme. First of all, if there is any particular law, we have to see three important organs of the state. One is executive. This executive wing brought this particular law. It was passed in Parliament, that is legislature organ of the state, and some who felt this law is unconstitutional, they challenged in the judiciary or Supreme Court. So here executive is Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance brought this law. It was passed in Parliament. And now this law is challenged by some people in Supreme Court. Still this case is pending. Meanwhile, Ministry of Finance has brought the notification and this law is being implemented now, and even donations were collected by the political parties since then through electoral bonds. Here, three important organs of the state are important: executive, legislature, and judiciary. Still, case is pending. Meanwhile, electoral bond scheme is being implemented. Political parties have received donations through electoral bonds. Now we have to see how this electoral bond scheme mechanism works. First of all, why this scheme is being implemented? One, to bring the transparency in election funding. Election funding is very crucial in Indian democracy. Since independence, so many times elections were held, and these elections are filled with lot of corruption and money power. In order to bring transparency in election funding, electoral bond scheme is being implemented. Now, what are the organizations involved in this particular scheme? What organizations involved here? It is related to elections. So naturally, Election Commission of India, this is one organization involved in it, and political parties. Political parties are involved. They receive the funding. Now, Election Commission of India should have control over the funding mechanism of political parties in order to give fair chance to different political parties in the country. And another organization involved here is banking. These electoral bonds are purchased through banks, and these purchased electoral bonds are donated to political parties, and political parties mechanism or political parties accounts are monitored by Election Commission of India. So these are the three broad aspects or three broad organizations involved in the Election Commission of India. So previously we have seen there are three important organs of the state: executive, legislature, judiciary. Executive brought this law through Parliamentary Act, and now still this case is pending in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is now has to see whether this particular law is constitutionally valid or not. Meanwhile, the executive brought this law into place, implemented, and donations are also accepted by the political parties through these electoral bonds. In implementation, we have to see three different organs. One is Election Commission of India, which monitors the donations of political parties, and through banking system, these electoral bonds are purchased and donated to political parties. Now, how these electoral bonds are monitored or how these electoral bonds are purchased and donated? According to this law, one organization, that is SBI, State Bank of India, this law says specified branches of State Bank of India are eligible to sell these bonds to people. So SBI sell electoral bonds to people, and people can purchase these electoral bonds and can donate to the political parties. However, political parties will have a specified account. These electoral bonds, they can encash only through this specified account. They can go to banks, and once people donate to the political parties can take these electoral bonds to the banks and they can encash, and this should be done through this a particular account. This account is verified by Election Commission of India. So this is what we have seen. So Election Commission of India will have control over political parties, and political parties receive donations through proper banking system. So this particular mechanism is maintained through electoral bonds scheme. Now what is the problem? Here it seems everything is transparent, because SBI will have accounts and political parties will receive the bonds through proper accounting channels, and Election Commission of India also will have control over can monitor the electoral bonds or how much money political parties are receiving. Now what is the challenge or what is the issue with electoral bonds in the political democracy? Indian democracy is having a lot of political parties. So many political parties are there. Some political parties are in power. That means those who are in power and those who are in opposition. Some political parties are in power, some political parties are in opposition. Now here, let us see, if people purchase electoral bonds from SBI, they can donate to the political parties. Here, problem is, here there is anonymity. Anonymity, that means the donor name need not to be made public by the political party. So it shows that whoever is donating to the political party cannot be made public. Here the donations are from minimum 1000 rupees to 1 crore rupees. These bonds are denominated from 1000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh and 1 crore. Recent report is saying that most of these bonds are of having value of 1 crore rupees. What does it mean? That means those who are powerful people or powerful business people, they might be purchasing these electoral bonds, and these are more than 90% of these donations are received by the political party which is in power. So more than 90% of donations were received by the party which is in power. Now the opposition parties did not receive these particular channel, through this particular channel, they did not receive the funding. What does it shows? Those who are in power have more advantage than who are in opposition. Here, one more thing is, anonymity is maintained. To maintain the privacy of the donor, this particular law is envisaged. However, those who are in power can directly contact the State Bank of India. State Bank of India will have all the details of donors and for which party these donations were made. So this shows that the party which is in power do know that about individuals who donated to parties who are in opposition, and those who are in, it come to know about the people who donated to the political party which is in power. So there is chances like those who donated to the opposition, they on them election enforcement directorate or CBI raids can be taken place. So this is how electoral bond scheme on one hand is ensuring the transparency, because through proper banking channel election fund can come to the political parties, but on the other hand in the implementation it can know that those who are supporting the party in power and those who are in opposition. So there is a possibility of vendetta politics in case of electoral bond scheme. So this is why the electoral bond scheme, now the people who are the parties which are in opposition are crying foul against this law, and they went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court is not yet finalized whether this is constitutionally valid or not, and still this case is pending. So let us see what are various details involved in this particular electoral bond scheme. An electoral bond is a bearer instrument like a promissory note. It is like a promissory note. In effect, it will be similar to a bank note that is payable to the bearer on demand and free of interest. No interest will be given to this. People can purchase this bond and they can donate it to the political party. Promissory, what is promissory note? It is a signed document containing a written promise to pay a stated sum to a specified person or the bearer at a specified date or on demand. So this promissory note mechanism is implemented in electoral bond scheme. Now the holder is presumed to be the owner, and whoever is in possession of the physical bond is entitled to the coupon payment. So the holder is presumed to be the owner. Suppose if political parties receive these electoral bonds, political parties can go to the banks and they can encash this. The bonds will be issued in multiples of 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh and 1 crore likewise. So this is the denomination available and available at a specified branches of State Bank of India. Now SBI is the sole authorized bank by the Government of India for selling electoral bonds. The minimum amount for donation in electoral bond is 1,000 rupees. So minimum is 1,000 rupees. Anyone who can purchase minimum 1,000 rupees, they can go to the political parties, they can fund it. There is no maximum limit for donation. Suppose if a person wants to donate 1 crore or 10 crore, they can take the denominations of 1 crore, 10 electoral bonds of 1 crore denomination, and they can donate it to the political parties. The bonds will be available for purchase for a period of 10 days each in the beginning of every quarter. So these are the specified limits. For 10 days in each and every quarter of a year, these bonds are open for sale. January, April, July, October. Now this issue, now we are in January. In January, SBI opened these electoral bonds for sale. So in that context, and also in February and March, we have elections also. So in that context, these electoral bonds came into being. Donors with a KYC compliant account can donate the bonds to their party of choice anonymously, which can then be cashed in via party's verified account within 15 days. If political party receive this within 15 days of receiving this bond, they can encash it. The bonds do not bear the name of the donor, donor name will not be there, and the details are not made public. Only Election Commission of India verifies this account, donor name will not be there, so it maintains the anonymity of donor. How political parties can use the bonds? Every party that is registered under Section 29A of Representative RPA Act 1951 has secured at least 1% of votes polled. So this is a minimum qualification to receive electoral bonds. In the most recent Lok Sabha or state election will be allotted a verified account by Election Commission of India. So Election Commission of India do know about the funding mechanism or amount that is received by a political party. Electoral bond transaction can be made only via this account. So this we have seen. An additional period of 30 days shall be specified by the central government in the year of Lok Sabha elections. If there is a Lok Sabha election, in that time period, another 30 days can be specified or enlarged by the Ministry of Finance so that people can purchase and they can donate to the political parties. Who is eligible to donate through electoral bonds? The law says the definition of person. Here person includes an individual, a Hindu undivided family, a company, any organization that specified by the law. It includes NGOs also, it includes trusts, it includes companies, corporations. They can purchase electoral bonds from the bank and they can donate to the political parties. There is no limit on the number of bonds an individual or company can purchase. Suppose if any political party has not encashed these electoral bonds within 15 days, these bonds directly go to the Prime Minister's Relief Fund. SBI deposits these bonds directly to the Prime Minister's Relief Fund because they are donations. They are given to any political party. If political party do not encash within 15 days, the donations go to Prime Minister's Relief Fund. Can electoral bonds be purchased multiple times by same applicant? Yes. Same application will be treated as Every application will be treated as fresh request for electoral bonds purchase, and every time fresh KYC documents will be given. So bank will come to know about the details of individuals, whereas the donor name will not be made public by the political party. However, if it can be misused because those who are in power can get the details of these donors from the SBI at any time. The electoral bonds will not bear the name of the donor. So this is to maintain anonymity of the donor. In essence, donor and the party details will be available with the bank. So only with the bank, donor who is donating and to which party they are donating, these details are with only bank. But the political parties might not be aware of who donor is. The intention is to ensure that all the donations made to a party will be accounted for in the balance sheets without exposing the donor details to the public. So it is to maintain privacy of the donor, and those who wish to donate to the political parties anonymously, they can do this through this mechanism. However, critical analysis is data shows that 99.9% of all electoral bonds bought so far are worth 10 lakh or 1 crore. So that you can see that denominations are of high worth. That means only rich people are buying these bonds and only rich people are donating to the political parties. Common people are not purchasing these bonds and donating to the political parties. The bonds of 1 crore rupees are the most popular among all the electoral bond purchase so far. So that too 1 crore rupee bonds are more popular. That means highly rich people are only donating to the political parties through this mechanism. Now, through anonymity, their names will not be made public. And before the introduction of the scheme, cash donations of over 20,000 could not be anonymous. This law amended this particular provision. Before this law, if any person donates 20,000 or more, those names should be made public. Now, due to anonymity, these names will not be come out. The fact that donations through electoral bonds remain anonymous as well as tax exempt also, and given most have been of high value have risen concerns among experts. This means only those who are having rich people or business people, they are donating to the party which is in power, and after donating the party fund they can influence the policy decision, and through these policy decisions now once again the policies are tilted in favor of rich people. So this is the major critical angle of electoral bonds. Through an amendment to the Finance Act 2017, the Union government has exempted political parties from disclosing donations received through electoral bonds. In other words, they don't have to disclose details of those contributing by way of electoral bonds in their contribution reports filed mandatory with the Election Commission every year. So this is the reason why experts are saying that this particular electoral bond scheme is tilted mainly towards the party which is in power, and the political opposition do not have sufficient balances or sufficient mechanisms to receive political fund. So because of this, electoral bonds once again in the news, because once again elections are coming in different states. Once again, through electoral bonds, rich people may donate to the party which is in power, and political opposition may not receive the fund through the electoral bonds. So this goes against the equal treatment or fair elections in the Indian democracy. So these are the various issues in electoral bond scheme. Thank you.